Hey, thanks for stopping by and welcome to another episode of What's That All About? So, today is about something that it almost feels like an opinion piece, but it's not. There is a lot of research out there on it. I just don't know how I feel about it quite yet. I still think I'm going to just continue to research it, but anyway, it's called the 20 and Back Special Secret, like triple top secret double probation Space Force program. The legit name of it is the 20 and Back Space Force program. Now, I'm going to try to explain this the best way I can. They say, when I started to research it, they say that there's nothing in the human language that can be used that can properly explain exactly what this program is. And after going through some of this research, I understand why they said it, but I think you can pick it apart a little bit. I tend, for myself, not for any other reason, just for me to understand it, I dummy things down a little bit. It's like the Cliff Notes of things, because this can be pretty complicated. So first, I think I just want to help you understand the discussing this. They refer to it as an enigma, as far as now enigmas, to the best of my knowledge, are not actually a provable entity or thing. But okay. According to my research, the 20 and Back Secret Space Force program was initiated through a deal with the United States Air Force and the Nordics, which are an alien species that are benevolent, who are dedicated to helping humanity and Earth not destroy itself. So the Air Force wanted their help to be able to covertly recruit more personnel into this program. And they were given new technology from the Nordics in order to accomplish this. And as a compromise, the Air Force could only enlist personnel for 20 years at a time. Now, mostly military people were used, but not all, because they needed, civilian scientists, they needed physicists, they needed engineers, they needed technicians, and they were, recruited through mostly the industrial age. So it is at best suspect. Okay. Now, there's a very important and relevant name to remember in a lot of this, and his name is Goode. Goode is the last name. He claims that, in a nutshell, again, my nutshell, he served in the 20 and Back program, and upon completion of his 20-year term, he was regressed and returned to the point in his life at the moment just before his 20 years began. And in his mind, he was supposedly supposed to have all of his memories erased. Unfortunately for the military, he's an intuitive empath. So he had the ability to actually remember things, everything that he experienced. So imagine, you're going back to a certain time, and he was taken right before his 17th birthday, and he effectively was taken to, we'll get to that, and then brought back in the same body, same state, almost 17 years old, but he had in his mind knowledge of aging 20 more years than that. So he was very discombobulated when he came back at first, but because of his abilities, he was able to work through them. His claims are literally nothing less than unbelievable, and that's pretty much what sums up what he runs into a lot, is that when he does start to talk about his experience or try to explain what he saw, what he did, which is not very in depth. And I think that either is because of the questions that are still left out there, or they really upset him, because he talks about how, some people came back and they don't remember anything, but you know, I don't know. It's a very difficult thing to explain because now he's this, like, what do they say, like old soul, but he's an old soul only because he has all the knowledge that he's not supposed to have. And when you come back from these 20 years, you're never, left alone per se. I mean, they keep an eye on, apparently there's thousands of participants that, you know, have gone and done, have been recruited. Now, Goode is, he's really undeterred by the debunkers. And in an interview, he addresses them, what they say. And he's got it's an interesting quote. This is after being asked about the technology that he was exposed to. And, the interviewer is asking him, do you think that what we've been shown by the government, yeah, right. I can't even believe this guy asked this question because I could have answered it, for everybody. But he said people seem to be, Googling, they get the information, they think that's it, that's all there is. The lack of disclosure from the government is staggering though. But if you accept what they tell you and that's it, then it probably won't bother you. But Goode's response was that, you just have to look back at history. There's been so many times that we've been pretty sure that we know everything, and then the government releases information or a new technology, new space or aircraft, or a whistleblower comes forward like Edward Snowden, who I've mentioned before, and releases information that people had talked about but had never believed or never really thought there was anything to it until it was like thrown right into their face with proof. So if people, he goes on to say that if you think that what you're Googling is all there is, then you're living under a very large misconception. So when Goode was asked about the technology that would be required to not only time travel, let's not forget time travel, but to achieve age regression, which that is a concept so outside the boundaries of anything that I can probably a lot of us could possibly understand. You age 20 years and then there's technology supposedly that can unage you effectively. But he reminds the interviewer that you can't talk about one advanced technology without revealing all the other advanced technology. And he uses a familiar saying. He says, effectively that would be like, letting the genie out of the bottle. But he says that that's not the genie you got to worry about because, at first people were wondering, are we alone, right? Are there aliens visiting us? Or that's effectively been so beaten to death with facts and even, some disclosure from the government. So it's almost like people are probably a good 45 to 50% aware that we're not alone in the universe, right? His main concern, and it's legitimate, man, he's afraid that everyone would find out that there's free energy. There's actually the ability, and the government knows it, to have free energy. That alone would collapse the global economy overnight. And they're right, it would. It would absolutely. We're completely unprepared for something like that. But, he claims to have worked on a lot of programs, and he says it's a lot like the military, though. In the 20 years that he was serving, he was on a vessel that, he moved around to different departments, kind of like the military, he said, where you basically become transferred. You go to different stations, you go to different things. But he said it was a lot of boredom. There was a lot of downtime. The other people in this program, they didn't really encourage forming relationships with anybody because they wanted you to focus on what you were doing. Now, he talked about the fact that you couldn't have any pictures, you couldn't have any personal notes, you couldn't have anything, no art, no cards, not even a deck of cards, but no, he said it was just, there was some mind-numbing boredom that went on. And he also said that he wouldn't talk about a lot of it because some of the things that they asked him to do really were dark, and he feels to this day it still bothers him to even try to talk about it. So he just doesn't. And I get it. Goode also said he had been promised that he would be guaranteed free tuition to any college he wanted. He would also be guaranteed a 6-figure salary at a cushy job for the rest of his life. There's no money. That's the reality. Not one person gets paid for it. They take away your memories. You don't even remember a conversation that you had with them agreeing to do this 20 years, because by the time you're coming back and you're regressed back to the age that you were before you left for your 20-year term, that you have no knowledge of where you were. Most people, not Goode because of his intuitive empath skills, but most people had no idea. So all those promises of money, they could have promised unicorns and everything, and nothing. So essentially, Goode says he was really discouraged because while he's away for all this, he felt kind of like it was slave labor. I mean, he wasn't paid at all. There was nothing that was given to any of these participants, and they don't even know it. They don't even know it. So how convenient, right? How convenient to have this kind of technology to essentially, and we talk about how we're afraid that we're going to have alien contact and it won't be friendly and they'll want to enslave us. Sounds like it's already kind of happening and our government's sort of helping them. It's, I understand technology is a sexy thing, right? Everybody wants it, but I know the government's real hungry for it. I just don't understand that. I can't wrap my head around the fact that they're willing to do this to us humans. Like, it seems so careless, and I don't know. It just terrifies me a little bit. I'm gonna be honest. Doing this episode kind of scares me. But no one in the back 20 is allowed to interact with really any VIPs or anybody. Like, after they've accepted this assignment, they aren't allowed to basically talk to anybody until they're going on their way. And you can re-up, which why would you want to? But if you don't have any memory of even doing a first 20, yeah, sure, I'll do it. But you can't do more than 3, because apparently the max allowed is 3 because everyone experiences mental deterioration during the 3rd one. Do they tell them that? They're the ones responsible for this, right? You're taking away people's memories. How are they supposed to know how many they've done? I just feel like this is very careless. I know I've said it. I don't mean to scare you. This wasn't to scare anybody, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And I do hope you either just learned something in this episode, not so much enjoyed it. It's not really like a yay episode, but I promise not to do a lot of these. I found this very disturbing, and I wanted to share it because I think everyone should know about it. Until the next time, please stay happy and healthy, and stay weird, and take care. Thanks.